Kitty Coven. We are here to do this week's Dreamsnaps. Now, this video is going to be a little different than our other ones. Unfortunately, usually I try to walk you guys through the process as I do it from start to finish. However, it didn't record properly. So what I'm going to do instead is we're just going to take a look around. I'm going to show you a little bit of what I used, talk about my inspiration, and that is how we are going to do it. So we're going to take a look here. Of course, I've got this is what our final image ended up being, but we're going to back out of this a little bit and we're going to kind of look around. Now, this week's challenge is a lazy, cozy day. It is build and decorate a relaxed scene filled with warmth, treats, and cozy corners. Enjoy a pot of honey like Winnie the Pooh or a bit of fine cheese like Remy on a carefree afternoon. We're leaning very heavily into the cozy vibe, and that is fantastic. I mean, it is a little more fall vibes for me personally. I'll admit, fall is my cozy season. That is where I just love getting all bundled up and having a cup of tea and reading. That is where my vibes come in. So spring and summer is a little more like active for me, but that's okay. I just leaned into what is my comfort time. And of course, as you can tell, that is reading a little bit. Now, if we're going to take a look around the room, you can see we've got a variety of things going on, as well as over here some things that I thought about using and just kind of didn't. Now, I went for a very like cozy reading nook vibe, and I really loved the two stained glass images of flora and fauna. Is that the two? I can never remember what each one's name is. I think it's Merryweather and Fauna. Or maybe Flora and Fauna. I don't know. I love the two stained glasses of them, though. I thought it was really, really cute. I think it worked out very well as a bit of our backdrop here. I did add some candlelit logs and candles up here. Now, they didn't get captured in the photo super great, as you guys probably saw right as we started. And that's okay. They still added to the ambience and the lighting a little bit. And sometimes things off the screen do still help us in our final result. Now, looking a bit further around, we had to have our cozy couch, and I did kind of want to stick with some greens, browns, a little bit of muted warm oranges, things like that. Again, it's a very fall color palette, but that is just what this kind of vibe screams to me. That is cozy for me. So I leaned into it for myself. We have our pumpkins on either side, mostly just to frame it. So one of the big things with Dreamsnaps is trying to make sure that you have framed up your image really, really well. It is filled, it directs the eye towards your kind of main focal point and all of that. And then I just built out from there. Of course, we've got a little coffee table, that's what they're called. I wanted to have the croissants and the books. I was actually trying to find like a little mug or teapot that would fit in this last little spot, but I couldn't. None of them wanted to sit right. So we just left it out for now. It would have been nice to have had one though. And then I kind of filled in a ton of different book piles and all of that to get across the reading nook energy. I wanted this to feel like I have spent my day curled up, listening to the rain, pitter-pattering on the windows, and that I had a warm cup of tea and a book, and I had some snacks, and that was my day. So that's kind of how I built it out. Once I got that done and found this little rug, I do wish it was bigger. It's just not, unfortunately, but you know what? Sometimes we gotta do what we gotta do, you know what I mean? So I tried to fill in around it so that way it still looked great. And then I did want to add some foliage as well, just because it just felt like it fit the vibe, especially with the pumpkins. I wanted something else in there, so I used these potted calthea, I think is what they're called, and used them to kind of fill the space in a little bit there. And of course, we've got a wonderful lamp back here. I actually originally wanted to do the, it's a Tinkerbell one. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Disney Fairies. Light it? Yeah, the Tinkerer's lamp, but it sits too far down into the couch to really work for what I wanted So we just kind of left it out there a little bit, and it's okay. Originally, I had put this book back here, but I wanted to have the lamp instead, so that way it was kind of, again, like you had that little lamp to illuminate it. I really wanted it to tell a story. Now, not every Dreamsnaps is going to tell like a massive story, but this one especially, I wanted that story to be told. When it came to taking the photo, I originally was like, oh, we'll sit down, you know, we'll sit on our couch and do that. But when you sit, all you do is scroll on your phone. I need them to give us sitting poses. Like, I so desperately want to be able to like have our character lounging across the couch. Oh my God, Kitty, I love you, but please let me sit to show off what I'm talking about. So I originally wanted to take the photo like this, but the scrolling on the phone didn't quite work. And then when I went to take the photo, it really didn't give much. So instead, I did choose to stand up, and I had us pick up our little Figaro here, because it just felt like it gave the most, I don't know, something to it. So if let's pick him up again, right? So if we wait until it picks him up, it still gives that kind of cozy vibe. We are a little bit to the side here. I kind of want to be over here. There we go. You can kind of see my thought process as I was taking the photo itself. Having Figaro there, it really just keeps it very cozy, very comfy. And of course, I wanted to mess with that focus a little bit because I wanted our stained glass to be in view, and we went with a kind of afternoon golden hour time frame to make it as cozy as possible. Of course, I then brought up the saturation, the brightness, messed with our highlights and our shadows. That's usually like what I do a lot of is kind of mess with those to give us the best energy that we can, some light blooms, some character lighting, and I actually did a little bit of rotation. Now, I don't usually use rotation in my Dreamsnaps very often, but I liked the way it kind of changed the perspective of this, and it made it feel almost more like peering into a kind of comfy, cozy time. I think it came out really well. You guys saw the final photo at the start of this. I do apologize that I wasn't able to kind of walk you guys through my entire process like I normally do. Unfortunately, my recording software just apparently decided, even though it told me it was recording, to just not record. So next week we'll be back to our normally scheduled programming, but in the meantime, if you would like to connect with the Kitty Coven community, come hang out with us, share your Dreamsnap submission, you can join our Discord down below. It is linked in that comment section for you. It is really awesome in there. I love hanging out with everybody. We do movie nights. I do my best to be active and see what everyone's saying in there. And of course, we have our Dreamlight Valley section, so I love seeing what you guys post and what you guys do in there as well. Also right there, if you'd like to check out some of my other socials, you can get some more content. I promise there's plenty across. I stream 4 to 5 days a week. I post fairly regularly on most platforms that I'm on, and I do my best to kind of hang out with you guys where I can. In the meantime, though, please take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next one. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming. Make sure to get some water, some food, a good stretch, and I'll see you in the next one, my Kitty Coven.